Do you think there's sort of forces at work here to shut people up? Is it something that really doesn't want to come out, that someone's trying to keep a lid on?
Absolutely. I think that 100%, and so do the officers that have been working with me, as well as the officers where Dylan is. When the attack happened at my house, you know, the guy said it's a message to Dylan. The officers talked to Dylan, showed him pictures of him. He wasn't able to identify him, and they feel that, they said, you know, you both know too much and people want to silence you. And I truly do believe that. But the way I am is I can't just shut down and, you know, okay, I'm done, I'm not saying anything. I'm in it for the long haul, so whatever happens, happens. I can't back down now.
So this to me...
Yeah, that is several letters that I've written in there of what they did to Chris for him to take the plea deal and the confession. For one thing, I mean, I'm going to say this, if I get in trouble for it, I'll get in trouble for it. But in one of the letters, it states that while he was getting interviewed after the polygraph, after like that 7-8 hours of constantly interviewing him, you know, at CBI, whatever, they actually showed him pictures of the family, his family, after they recovered them. And showed them pictures of I don't want to say, you know, obviously of them not being alive. And that would traumatize anybody. And being a psychologist, that would put me into shock. And I wouldn't doubt that he probably went into shock seeing that. I know.
Even if they weren't your family, it would make you...
Exactly. And I know
turns up with those. Sure. Can you recap? Let's do something innocuous first.
Sure.
Your health. How's your health now?
I'm doing okay. I'm in a lupus flare-up from everything that happened, but I'm doing okay. My face is still a little swollen, but I got my cast off, and I'm moving around more, but I still have security 24/7, so...
Do you?
They're still here, yes.
Not 3 of them. It cut back to 2, or is it still 3?
There was 5. I'm down to 3, and then 1 personal bodyguard at all times, so basically 4. Yeah.
You are like a VIP now.
Yeah, it's scary.
Kardashians, they'd be jealous.
I wish. Maybe they could call me and I could...
They're asking you about your attack. Can you say any more? But not much you can say, is there really?
Yeah, it was... I could probably say a little bit more.
Okay.
It was a physical attack and a sexual assault attack, and all in one that happened. And that's when I set my Run Angel Watch down for a few minutes, and I finally was able to get to it and hit the button, and that's when my bodyguard came, my dad, the police, FBI, and someone else came.
I just want to say this to the people that highly likely you would have been murdered if you didn't have that watch.
Absolutely. If I did not have my Run Angel Watch, I would be dead right now, 100%. And they found out where the guy was staying, like where the woods in my house, they had the dogs out. Shortly after that, I wasn't able to talk about it at the time, but they had the dogs, and they found where he was sitting, and they determined he was there for maybe about 2 days watching. Yep.
So there's a big difference between you, Shannon, and Kim. You and Shannon don't ask for any money.
No.
How you met? None of them know here. There's nearly 2,000 people.
Okay.
How did you meet?
How did I meet Dylan?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've been a fan of your show for years, which you know that. I've been a fan on your show. I've been on the show a few times. I wrote to Chris. I wrote to him. I stated that, you know, as a clinical psychologist, I watched your videos. I don't feel that you committed these crimes. I feel that somebody was involved. You know, just speak the truth. Don't give up on God. Pray. Get your truth out. And just, you know, people are there to speak up.
Mr. Gillespie says the same. He's adamant this case is being investigated.
I agree. I feel like it was never closed to begin with. And I think I said last time when we talked, the autopsies, I feel they either didn't give us the correct autopsies or they took stuff out, because usually when I would do an autopsy, those pages are good 10 to 12, sometimes 15 pages for one person. And those were only like 3 pages per person. So I really feel they, you know, and again, that's private. Nobody really does need to see that. But if it does come out, I just don't feel the autopsies will have the information in there correctly. And again, I don't know if it was not done correctly or if it was just something general because they knew the public would see it. And again, the girls were minors, so that does have like a legal clause where a lot can't come out. But I don't know. I feel with the autopsies that I've done in the reports, that report that was written up was just inconclusive to me. Doesn't make sense.
I don't know. You've been to autopsies. You've seen autopsies, haven't you?
I have. I've seen them. I've done them. I've written the clinical reports afterwards. It's definitely very, very, it's traumatic. It truly, truly is traumatic to see. And it's people, I even asked when I had my mom's autopsy, I said, I know I can't do it ethically, but can I at least be in the room? Like, it's my mom, and they won't let me do that, even though I'm licensed to do it. They're like, no, you can't be in the room. So.
You might be able to help me on this question that
sure.
Everybody skirts around. A lot of people are worried and scared that the girls were still alive when they put in the tanks. But the fact that there was no oil in...
Yep.
So what about Dylan then? How is he? Where is he?
My love. Oh, gosh. Well, I finally got to have a Zoom meeting with him last night. I didn't talk to him for over a week. After we were talking about 4 times a day, everything was going good. And then all of a sudden, I didn't hear from him for a couple of days. I called his attorneys, his PO. I called the governor. I called WRC. They're going to hate me just like Dodge does. So I made such a probably a chaotic thing where they finally called me back and they said he's quote unquote okay. So last night I received a Zoom message from him, like an actual video talk with him, and he wasn't okay. He was in the hole for 8 days, and they took his phone restrictions away for 22 days because they said he called me too much. So I said to them, well, how did he call me too much when you have to let him out of the cell to call me? And they didn't have an answer for that. And he got tased. They tased him while he was in shackles and cuffs again. And the guy who was holding the top of his head, they tased him for so long, for 12 seconds. It was supposed to be 5. The gentleman that was holding his head, the CEO, actually burned his hand through Dylan's head. That's how much electricity went through him.
Oh, my God.
It's crazy. Yeah, it was bad.
And he's been punished again, and he's been put in the hole again. For what?
And
for what?
For calling me too much, they said.
For calling you too much? Well, that's up to him. That's up to him.
And they let him out. They're the ones that have to open the door, cuff him to let him out and bring him to the... Thank you. Yes, he's so funny. Did you get to see the video? He was hysterical.
No, I didn't see the video. I saw the pictures of him messing about.
He's so funny. He just, he takes right over with the security team. Right over. His Green Beret skills go into full effect. He's hysterical. I love him so much.
Why are they still giving you so much security if the guy's banged up? What's going on?
Well, the guy is still... It's still a threat. The guy still won't speak. They still can't figure out his name, where he's from. No fingerprints. They were ran in Connecticut. They were ran in the U.S. and they were ran internationally, and we haven't gotten anything. So he's basically sitting in holding. We had 2 different court dates. We couldn't process it because they're going to have to process it kind of as a John Doe, but they really don't want to do that. So we're just waiting basically for this guy to crack or something to come out to be able to process it and process him.
Whoa. Is there anything going to happen with that at the moment, or is just static?
It's kind of sad. We're kind of like in limbo right now. We're just waiting to see. We're waiting to see if somebody else comes around, if something new happens. So we're pretty much on alert, like completely all the time.
Okay, so how are you getting on with these guys? Are they the same ones every week, or do they swap them around?
No, they swap them around. Yeah, I have one that's with me constantly, that is with me all the time. And then they swap the other officers. And some are in uniform, some aren't. You wouldn't even realize, who really is an officer or not. So, yeah, it's scary, though, a little bit.
We never got one to come on and talk to us. They promised us, didn't they? They promised us.
They promised, and I'm sure they will once, probably in a couple of weeks. I'll be able to have one of them come on and talk about it. Yeah.
Then she says Shanann was drunk, more or less.
That is insane.
Which is not true. We had Mr. Gillespie on. Did you see that? Mark Gillespie
that was amazing. Mark was amazing. Yeah. Loved him. Great show. That was so good.
So she started off well. Now she's gone crazy saying that Shanann. We saw her walking up the drive. She was sober as anything. Right.
Yeah. There's no way she was. That's why I get so angry about it when they blame it on her. There's no way. But she's drinking, and in any autopsy, anybody who's done autopsies, like I've told you before, I've done them before. There's always, because of how the body, I don't know how to explain it, but you always have gases in your body, and it always shows a level of toxicity or alcohol level. Even if people didn't drink or do anything, your body just makes this kind of methane or whatever it's called. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But if there were any levels, anybody's body would show that. Anybody's would.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So it just really frustrates me that she would blame it on her. It's just awful.